Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 402. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate!
402.
402, our second episode post end of season.
Fully into the off season.
And let me tell you, I hate it. But before we get into that,
Yeah.
you're a Spotify guy, right? Oh no, you're Apple Music. You're one of those weird people.
I switched like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Paige made me switch. And I regret the switch. I'm going to be honest with you. I regret it.
Spoken
I had
like a true Apple Music fan.
I had like 2,500 songs on my Apple. Like just, oh yeah.
It's
I had
not
a ton of music that I just don't remember now. I can't remember what it was, like who the band was, like what the name of the song was, and I can't find it again, and it's just gone.
Well, it's not though. It doesn't go away. Like Spotify, both of these, you have access to the music.
I can't find what I have.
This isn't like iTunes.
No, dude.
Circa
I have
2007, where you have to like buy them, and if you reset your iPod, it goes away.
500 or 600 songs that I don't remember what I had on Apple. It's not like this song pops into my head. It's just like it's gone. I don't remember what it was. But I do remember that I had more songs in Apple than I do now.
Yeah, but you know what they say? It's like when you're trying to remember something, you can't remember it. Well, it must have not been that important. Like you're gonna remember your bangers, like your go-to, your repeat, your gym music, your commute music. The other stuff it kind of just falls by the wayside.
I don't like change, and it was a big change for me, and I regret it. So.
Well,
Apple people stand strong. Don't listen to this.
I want to force you to sit in this regret a little longer. Are you familiar with the Spotify Wrapped?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know how to access it or where you see that, but
this is good. So this is like completely new to you then. All right, so
basically,
take your phone because I'm curious.
I don't listen to my podcast on Spotify though.
That's fine. We're not here for.
I thought you were going to do that thing.
Stuff.
All right.
No, I just wanted to see. You don't have to go into details. I know certain people are like,
Wrapped. I see it up there.
Private about their music, but I'm just curious.
Click on that?
Yeah, click it. But turn it down though, because I'm not trying to get flagged for any music playing.
Do your 2023 Wrapped or your 2023 top songs?
No, so go to your homepage, go to the top.
Yeah.
At the very top, it'll say like all music, podcasts, audiobooks. Scroll to the right, you'll see a little Wrapped.
Right. Then what I hit?
Just click that. And then there should be a big box that says your 2023 Wrapped.
Okay.
All right. So turn it down because I don't want to be flagged.
All right. Turn it down.
All right. So click it.
Okay.
We don't have to go through the whole thing. I'm just curious. I want to see if there's anything that pops.
Morgan Wallen's going to be up there for sure, I think.
Okay. All right. I got hit. Somebody said it said I listened to like 89 genres of music. There's not even 89 genres of music. I would argue that there's maybe not even 12 genres of music. What are 89? Come on.
Do I get to see like the list?
Yeah.
So I just click through all this nonsense?
So tap a few in. How many minutes did you listen to?
Oh, I'll go back. I listened to 1,330 songs.
Who is your top artist? That's what I really want to know.
Listen to 896 artists this year. Yeah, Morgan Wallen called it.
Well done.
Number 2, Zach Brown Band.
Man, just full on Full on country mode this year.
Number 3, Luke Combs.
Okay, full on country mode.
By the way, I think I'm going to Luke Combs in May. That guy's the freaking man. Can't wait for that.
Side note.
Yeah.
This probably could have waited off air, but you're talking about going to see somebody. Did I mention going to see Bergazzi?
Are you?
In February?
I should have taken it.
He's coming to the freaking Patriots Center.
Oh, I should have taken advantage of it when he was here. I knew I should have done that. I'm so jealous. Nate Bargatze's the man, too.
He's like 15 minutes down the road. It's going to be sweet. Anyway.
I'm going to drop a name people don't know. Number 4, Nico Moon. You know Nico Moon?
I do. I think he does a song.
He's more like a it's not like traditional country at all.
Yeah.
It's like an island boating kind of country.
Yeah, he does a song with who does the song Good Time?
Yeah.
He does that with somebody, I thought. It's not Luke Combs.
I think that's just him.
This was somebody else. Anyway, I just want to get a rough feel for where you're at.
Number 5, Zach Bryan. This is a clean sweep country.
Top 5 for me. Well, we only really need to talk about the one. It's NF. NF every year.
That.
Like back to back now.
I knew that.
That I have been.
I listen to more than just country, by the way, guys.
The top percent. I got hit with an email from Spotify. Said your Spotify for podcasters available. So I pulled some screen grabs from that about the pod, about the 3-0 take, the show that you are currently listening to. It said our top episode was, as you would expect, the hot takes and predictions episode for 2023.
Love that.
And it was really interesting because it said a good percentage of people a good percentage of the new listeners started with that. They went back to hot takes, and that's where they were like, all right, this is where we're going to hop on board. And then they just wrote it out. It said said we are streamed in 18 countries, 86% of those streams coming from the US. Shout out what? America.
18 countries?
Couldn't tell you who it is. I would imagine
that's
Canada.
So sick.
We know Australia.
Mexico's maybe we got a little Mexico action going.
A little Mexico. I thought it was funny. It said our listeners' top podcast genres were sports, comedy, and news, which is so
news.
Like, it's such a perfect representation of sports fans. I feel like in order to get away from the messiness and just the crap that life throws your way, you're going to look for a distraction.
Yeah.
And naturally, our listeners are going to sports first and foremost.
Right.
And then they go to comedy.
For sure.
For a little comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, all right, well, if I don't, once those two things are out of the picture, then I guess I'll turn to the news. Yeah, so shout out for you guys.
Can't just stick your head in the sand. So I think what that tells me is that our listeners are extremely intelligent and tapped in.
Speaking of tapped in, it said our top fans listened, which I feel like the people that listen know who they are. Like, I've had people messaging me today with this whole Spotify rap thing. They've tagged us in the stories, tagging like the top 5 podcasts.
Love that, by the way. That gets me hyped.
You know who you are. Says our top fans listen to the pod 3.4 times more than the other listeners. So
wow.
Shout out you guys.
Love you guys. Let's go. That's dope.
Big fan of that. Switching gears to baseball, though, what I'm not a fan of, and you and I were talking about it briefly before we hopped on, this whole state of the offseason that we're in, just everything about it.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Let's just run through the list here. The national reporters that fuel all of this, the people on social media that just eat every bit of it up.
Yep.
Instead of choosing to do something productive with their day, they're buying into all these reports that are conflicting, by the way.
Yep.
Just the overall inactivity. I saw a meme the other day where it was in fact, I may have even, I posted it to our Facebook. It was a meme of like those two Doge dogs. And it's like, it's like the big jacked one. And then the one that's like over in the corner crying. And the one on the jacked one is the NFL, the NBA. And it's about free agency. It says all our big free agents signed first day. No time for rumors. You've already signed, bub. And then over in the corner, it's just the dog crying in the corner with the MLB logo on it. It says, we might wait until March to sign. This team is interested, but so are 15 other teams. Heyman says yes. Ken says no. Bob doesn't know. Passan hasn't tweeted in 2 months. I hate this part of the year, dude. And I especially cannot stand these reporters who, if you know anything about what's going on with social media, you will know that a lot of these platforms now, a couple of them for a while, but X or Twitter especially, and I'm not saying that this is across the board, but this is more for like the middle tier, not the big name reporters. I don't think they couldn't care less.
Yeah.
But Twitter X specifically has the premium service now. It's where you can sign up, you get the blue check mark verification. And if you reach a certain impressions threshold, you then enter in what they call the ad revenue sharing, program process, whatever. And you get a cut each month. And it's completely flipped upside down journalism, coverage, news.
Just about clicks.
It's all about clicks. It's even outside of sports. It's just posting the most erroneous, sensationalist things you can think of, just to drive clicks, just to drive impressions. And there's so many of these reporters I use reporters in quotes, these like no-name people that are like, yep, I can confirm this. My sources tell me that this is that, this is this.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what they're talking about. And I'm just tired of people eating it up and like they're pulling hair because like, oh my God, my team's not going to get this guy because Johnny No Nuts said that his sources confirmed it. Just wait until March.
The people that fall for this are the people that just are like, they refuse to create their own opinion. Refuse. And it's one thing if you listen to podcasts or if you read articles and your opinion changes. It's another thing if you can't even create your own opinion. Or if it just falls in line with whatever you're reading that day. It's just like, have an original thought. So this is why social media sucks. Social media is the worst, dude. I hate it.
Would that be so bad? Yeah, Dwight, it would. Have a thought. Have an original thought. I saw a tweet today. I need to pull it up. It's this.
He doesn't have Tourette's, by the way, guys. That's just an office quote. Any newbies?
Just an office
Get
quote.
Used to it.
I'm not like schizophrenic. I'm not talking to people that aren't here. It's just, I recognize that it's just Nate and myself. This right here, it actually can't, it was posted today, perfectly summarizes the state of modern journalism. Andy Martino, who's been getting a lot of love recently.
Mets guy, right?
Mets guy says, and I quote, "The Mets are active. In fact, they are close to acquiring a player. Not star level, but I don't have the name at present."
I think any team reporter could tweet that at any moment right now and be correct.
That's what I'm saying. It's just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks, and if it lands, then you look like a genius. But even at this point, it's so watered down that you really don't. So at this point, you just have people throwing stuff at the wall for nothing.
these clicks, do these reporters like get paid from X technically if they have like their premium account?
That's why I was saying I'm not necessarily talking about guys like Passan. Like, I don't know, because they're legit guys in the industry. I don't know if there's like a higher tier where that I honestly, I just don't know how it works entirely. But I'm saying, like, if uh first thing off the top of my head, if a Red Sox fan with 1,000 followers decide he wakes up tomorrow and goes, you know what? I want to get in on this rumor about Shohei possibly coming to Boston. I'm going to sign up for X. And then he gets on there, gets the verification badge. And then he goes out and tweets, sources close to me indicate that Shohei was seen in Boston. You can just throw out the most like unverifiable things. Just say
straight
like
up lie.
Shohei was seen by a bystander in Logan Airport. Sources confirm that a deal is possible. The most arbitrary, vague nonsense you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
And people are eating it up. And then they get the clicks, they get the reposts, the likes, and then it just blows up. And then people lose their minds over it.
And it's just idiots arguing with each other in the comment section, just driving the numbers up.
And then you get a freaking an Angels fan with 1,000 followers that also woke up that same day and decided, no, I'm going to start pushing this narrative that Shohei is coming back to the Angels. And then he puts out a tweet that says, sources confirm that no imminent deal to Boston has been confirmed and is rather unlikely. I saw a post today that John Heyman literally went on the Bleacher Report stream like we did a number of months back. And he was talking about how Shohei to Boston is a possibility. And this came 4 hours after a report was circulating on Twitter talking about how the Red Sox were out on Shohei. I know I keep going in circles here and I'm just beating a dead horse, but I'm just so tired of it, dude. I'm tired of seeing. I don't think I've ever had an offseason where I've read the words eyeing more than I have this offseason. Team X is eyeing player Y. What does that even mean? Of course, every one of the 30 teams in Major League Baseball at some degree, at some level, is eyeing a player. Whether that means they're looking to acquire them via trade, via free agency signing, or they're eyeing one of their own players to push away, to push out of the organization because they're punting on 2024, 2025, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So you telling me that a team is looking at a player, that means absolutely nothing to me. And like I put out today, national baseball reporters at one point or another told us that Aaron Judge was a Giant, Carlos Correa was a Giant, Carlos Correa was a Met, Max Scherzer was a Padre, and Michael Brantley was a Blue Jay. So forgive me if I'm not eating every last word up before pen has been put to paper. That's all I'm going to say. I'm done with my rant. So,
oof. Feel better?
No. Still pissed, but it's all right.
Let me ask you a question. Do you miss the days of being a football fan?
I mean, I'm watching football like rather casually, but
sure,
I'm not like fully
like an
into
actual
it.
fan, like fantasy football type fan, like enough to where you'd be into it to play fantasy football. Because I tell you what,
if we're talking about from this perspective, absolutely, because
that's what I'm saying.
They talk
I don't
about
care.
ESPN. They talk about football on ESPN and pretty much every other platform, literally year round. And there's no fluff. There's no like, well, let's just get to this point in the year and then it really picks up. It's all year. Yeah. Baseball doesn't have that luxury.
No, it doesn't. But what I was going to say is I don't care. I'm not reading rumors. I'm not paying attention to anything. I'm not falling for this Yankees are talking Soto package. I'm not falling for it. I think it's because of football. I'm dialed in. By the way, I won that survivor pool. No big deal. 62 people with a $25 buy-in. You do the math. I won that puppy.
The survivor pool.
Yeah, you pick one winner each week and you can't pick the same team twice.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So your boy went 12-0.
Well done, sir.
Yeah. Good chunk
Well
of change. Good chunk of change.
Yeah. That's
Fantasy teams in second place. It's nice. All I'm saying is that it's nice to have that.
An outlet to your outlet. That's kind of nice. That's a good point.
I think
need
you
to
need
get
fishing, skateboarding, knitting. You big knitter?
Crochet, actually.
Okay. Get some of that going.
I need I think you're right. Honestly, this is like the premier football time for me. Really, I mean, football fans too, but like especially me, because I typically don't really tune into football until the start of December, because I want to get caught up on, like, you know, where the storylines heading into the playoffs, and then obviously I watch the playoffs, Super Bowl, and all that. But and then college football too. Like I'm big into the college football scene, so I think the timing of this has worked out just great, because I am at absolute wit's end with
I can tell.
baseball.
I can tell.
I'm just done with it.
It's also I don't have access to MLB Network right now because I have YouTube TV. And part of me is just super. It's kind of nice being super unplugged from baseball.
I've told you can access MLB Network through the MLB app.
Not anymore. We used to be able to. On the app, I can do it on my phone, but I can't do it on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
I can't do it on a desktop or anything.
Didn't have any access. I was like, no, you can at least do it on your phone.
Yeah, but who watches something on their phone? You do?
All the time.
I can't. I multitask. I need my phone to multitask to what I'm watching.
Yeah, they do the little picture-in-picture thing. It turns into like a small TV on your screen. You can slide it around wherever you want.
That's fair. Let me see.
Anyway, I'm done with it. I'm really only interested in talking about the things that have happened, and I'm really only interested in speculating on things that are of interest to me, not for the sake of trying to be the first to report something or get this. See, there you go. There's MLB Network.
Ken Burns' baseball.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, that right there. That's the state of baseball right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Ken Burns baseball on MLB Network right now. That's all you need.
You couldn't pay me to sit through that in one sitting. I'm sorry.
But yeah, anyway, there is a part at the end here I'm hoping that we can get to where we, maybe spitball some spots we'd like to see guys land at, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've got the inside scoop, because nobody has the inside scoop. The only things you hear from people are reports that are then sent, or details rather, of contracts that are then sent to them, to which they then push out. I mean, what are we really talking about here? All these people are legitimately claiming fake sources. They don't have sources. Not everybody, but a lot of these people who are pretending to be like beat reporters.
Yeah.
You just have 1,000 followers and you're wearing a team's hat in your profile picture. That's it. All right, I'm done. But yeah, let's talk about the things that have happened. This week, we saw Sonny Gray sign a 3-year, $75 million contract with the Cardinals. How do you feel about this? As a former Sonny Gray watcher, I'll limit you to that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say admirer. Couldn't go that high.
No, I wasn't going to slap you with the label of fan because I know
Yeah,
that would have
no.
been pushing it too far. But you did at one point in your baseball watching career watch Sonny Gray.
Yeah. Kind of rooted for him for a sec. I think, to be honest with you, the Cardinals needed this. Like, more than needed this. I couldn't think of a more dire starting pitching need as far as teams go than the Cardinals. So absolutely makes sense to me. I think it's kind of a best of both worlds for Sonny Gray. Like, I think everybody can agree he's not necessarily a spotlight guy. He's kind of like a Greinke, just doesn't love being in like the big market situation, constant eyes on you. So I think that's why we saw so much success in Oakland, non-success in New York. Why am I forgetting where he was in the middle before Minnesota?
Oh, the Reds?
The Reds. Yeah, fell off the radar. Twins, you basically fell off the radar, but the only reason you were talked about is because you were so good this year and the Twins managed to sneak into the postseason. I think this is the best of both worlds. You get a successful team, a storied team, a good fan base, a strong fan base. I wouldn't say necessarily I would say one of the least hostile fan bases.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, say what you will about them. They may leave early from playoff games, but they're not hostile. So I think that's a good thing for Sonny.
Pause. Let me interject here. Just as a heads up, my sister-in-law texted me. They do trivia. Her and my brother-in-law do trivia every Wednesday. And they always have an MLB round.
Yeah. Do we need to speed this up so we can get an answer done in time? Or did they
already? No, she just said it's coming up. So I just want to let you know in case I
let's do it.
Have to pause, we can then answer. But my thing with that is like, why you would say, well, just Google it. I mean, isn't reaching out to a baseball fan? Yeah. What are we?
Yeah. Are we better than Google? I hope so. I want to nail this thing.
I mean, I'm like 4 for 4.
I love
on
that.
the questions he's reached out to.
Good for you.
I'm gonna have to address that when they're home for Christmas.
I think legit trivia, you probably shouldn't have access to your phone.
Yes,
if you're winning money,
questions need to be answered.
Yeah. Anywho's,
anyway,
yeah.
Give
me Sonny Gray in there. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it could be the deal could end up being worth $100 million over 4 years because he's got the team option.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't want to say my disappointment, but my thoughts on the move aren't necessarily directed towards Sonny Gray. I think Sonny Gray obviously came off a great year, finished second in the Cy Young race. It's more about the Cardinals in their rush to fill their rotation with guys that I just don't think are gonna.
That was kind of my next point. No matter how good of a year Sonny Gray just had, I don't see Sonny as an ace. I don't think other teams
is right now.
Yeah, so I don't think they're done. That's my thought. I mean, they have been in conversations with Blake Snell, according to these stupid
them
rumors
and 29
that we've been
other
reading.
teams.
I know. I agree. But what I'm saying is that there's a need for it. I think there's possibly a little bit of a. I think this is Ollie Marmol's last year. I don't if he even gets through the year. So I think there has to be a little bit of a. You got to make this somewhat attractive for hiring a new manager. So I could see a Blake Snell and slot Sonny in the 2 spot. I could see it. I could see the trade for Glass now.
That one I could see. I don't see Blake Snell in St. Louis. Apparently, he can't, which you would probably be more familiar with it. You may have even have seen it live, but Mike Tirico mentioned, whether he was supposed to or not, mentioned apparently that Blake Snell had made it known that he would love to pitch for the Mariners, which are his hometown team.
Yeah.
And he commented that on, I guess that was Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, Sunday night,
two. Yeah. So I'm like, that's a little interesting that sentiment became known publicly.
Yeah, and I think if you're that kind of opens up, because there were conversations with the Cardinals with Logan Gilbert a little bit, weren't there? Some maybes mixed in during the year.
I don't know if I heard that one.
Maybe I'm thinking of somewhere else. I don't know. Either way, I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done. And they're in a little bit of I think you're in a little bit of a sweet spot where you're in a win now mode. You got a lot of money tied up on the corners. You have a mixture of young studs that are starting to enter the scene. But you need pitching. Bad.
Going back to the Ollie Marmol thing, I don't. If they start off sluggish through like May or June, I could see them shipping him out of there, because the St. Louis Cardinals of all teams, I don't think are going to be very accepting of having back-to-back flops.
Yeah.
Like some other teams around the league would be okay with it. Like, like we're just in a little bit of a lull. We'll retool, we'll rebuild. But the Cardinals are going to look at this and be like, this isn't the way we do things.
Especially in a division that's up for grabs every year. Especially with Craig Counsell out of Milwaukee. This division is up for grabs.
Well, I mean, he's staying in division, but
for sure. But I think Milwaukee most likely going to take a step back. And when you're the Cardinals, it's like, are you really going to let the Cubs just step in?
Yeah.
What if they go get one of these Ohtanis or Yamamotos, or, what if they get one of these and a new freaking top 3 manager? Like, they're making strides. You're Cardinals. You have to keep up, especially when you have 2 potential Hall of Famers in the middle of your order that you're not building or supporting. Go get pitching. Go make trades. Get a Glasnow. Get a Logan Gilbert. Give Ollie Marmol all the... in my mind, like, if you're going to get rid of a manager, I think you have to give him all of your efforts.
Yeah,
he deserves that.
I agree.
Right? As an organization,
you owe him that.
Exactly. You can't tie one hand behind his back. So give him whatever he needs. This roster is close. It needs a lot. It needs some love. So give that to Ollie. And like you said, if it's a slow start, you've already pushed chips in the middle of the table. You got to fill that position with somebody like a Yadi Molina.
Kenta Maeda, 2 years, $24 million. With deal with the Tigers. This is just a rather bland move.
I don't think we'd even be talking about this if it wasn't November 29th.
Correct. But this is where we are, so we're going to talk about it.
Inning eater, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, when he's healthy.
When healthy?
I'll
look it up.
I don't know, man. The Tigers are just in such a weird spot. Hold on. We got to pause.
All right. What do we got?
True or false? This year's ALCS was the first to feature 2 teams from the same state. Was it the first? That's the key.
ALCS? All right. Well, let's think of the same state team. So California, Florida, right away. Okay. So you would have to have...
It's not Florida.
Angels and A's. You'd have to have Giants or Dodgers. That's NL. This is ALCS only.
So what is that? This is literally... That's only A's, Angels, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't think that sounds like an ALDS matchup.
Which wouldn't work.
My gut says yes.
Florida.
No, because it's just the Rays.
No, just the Rays.
Texas, or yeah,
Pennsylvania.
No, NL.
I'd hate to say yes, but
I think it's true. I'm gonna put.
I think it's true because of the fact that like the Astros switched within the last 15 years.
Oh, true. Yeah. Oh,
You know?
yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah. I'm just gonna say true with the question.
Why do
mark.
I feel like we're blanking on other states?
I'm like, as I like scramble for the sake of speed in my scrambled thinking, I can't think of any other.
You told it true. You told him true, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. I need to confirm here. Yeah. A's, Angels. Not Ohio, not Indiana. I mean Illinois, sorry. That's literally it, dude. It's Texas and California.
Perfect.
Yep. That's
Angels,
my gut.
Angels, A's.
That's
why am I picturing like
hold on, who was in the
early 2000s?
Yeah, what was their World Series run, ALCS?
03?
No, it was 02.
The A's?
Yeah, World Series 02. The Angels
Division series in 03, that's what it was. Right? Or no, 04. Go ahead, keep going.
No, I was just figuring out. I was seeing who they beat in the ALCS in 02 in the World Series run. It was the Twins. I think we're good. I mean, unless it was the Angels, way back in the day, but who knows?
The Angels were more like, they were good in like, when they go to the World Series, 06?
Angels?
Yeah.
No, it was 02. That's what I said. That's the year they won.
Oh, I was talking about the A's. When you said 02.
Oh, no. I was talking about the Angels because that's what I was looking up. The A's,
right? They didn't face the A's in that 02 season, right? So
in the postseason run,
yeah, that's what I thought that's what we were looking up.
Well, the only thing we're looking up is the ALCS, and I just said it was the Twins.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. 02 with like, ooh, let's play a fun game. Give me David Eckstein. Give me Tim Salmon.
Wait, hold on. Now, why is it saying that the AL Division Series in 02? Oh, right. No, sorry. I know. Yeah. It was the Twins and A's in the Division
Jim
Series.
Edmonds. Maybe not Jim Edmonds. Old Jimmy could have been in St. Louis around that time.
He was.
Jose Molina.
Benji.
Jose was also there.
Oh, Jose was on the team.
Okay,
no, he was also on the team.
Cool. Who was the pitcher? John Lackey?
John Lackey was on the team, yes.
All right. I'm running low here.
Oh, I know. One of these outfielders. One of these outfielders. I feel like
I got Garrett Anderson already, right?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Kind of, I feel like he was slept on, man.
Yeah. I liked his swing a lot.
Darren Erstad.
Erstad, dang it. I knew that. There's one more pitcher I should know, isn't there? Is Gagne.
I don't think he was ever with the Angels. I thought it was just the Dodgers.
I swore Gagne was an Angel.
Or no, I think you're right. Man, we're really going off the trail here.
We're really going with some recall.
No, he was just with the Dodgers.
Dodgers
and then
Rangers.
Texas, and then Boston, and Milwaukee.
Yeah. Dang. It was the closer I'm thinking of then.
K-Rod?
Yeah. I knew there's a big closer there.
All right.
Troy Glaus.
You've run out of time. I'm going to just read off some of these. Troy Glaus, Troy Percival.
Troy Percival.
Jared Washburn.
Yep.
Scott Shields.
Yeah.
Adam Kennedy, Scott Spezio.
Ooh, Scott Spezio.
Tim Salmon.
Craziest little goatee thing.
Yeah.
That thing was wild.
Tim Salmon, Brad Fulmer.
I got Salmon.
Sean Figgins? That's a name I haven't heard.
Yeah. I could have got that one if I sat on that a little longer.
Wait a minute. Clay Bellinger? That's not.
Yeah, that's Dad.
Is it really?
Yeah. Dad was a Yankee in like 98, I think.
99, 2000. 99, 2001, yeah. Then it was with the Angels in 2002.
Yeah.
A 2-time World Series champ, and he played for
yeah.
Barely. How many games did this guy play?
Enough.
He played 183 games and won 2 World Series. That's a wow.
Big time, baby.
That's a story to dive into on another day. Anyway, we are.
I think he's a firefighter out here, by the way.
No kidding.
Yeah. Paige went to the same school, same high school.
Nice.
That's Billy.
Anyway, back to the Tigers. Yes, yeah, man. I don't know that. Every couple years here, it's the same cycle. I do what I can to give the benefit of the doubt. I try to get high on a couple of these teams, try to give them a little bit of a push, a little bit of a bump, and then they just let me down. And the Tigers were that team for me coming out of the AL.
Holy crap. I forgot you even backed them. I forgot you were even excited.
I really did. When they brought Hinch over, Torkelson got me excited. And not to say that some of these guys aren't worth getting excited over, but
I think Torkelson will find success.
Yeah.
I see that coming eventually. Give him a couple more years.
And who knows, like maybe it's not to say that they're going to do anything of note this year, but I may have to. I think I maybe should have suspended my support for them until they cut ties with Miggy, because I think you're going to see a new Tigers culture now that we've kind of parted ways with Miggy. I mean, nothing but respect for Miggy, but we need to
that needed to happen.
We need to move on now. So
yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll spark up a little buzz again. Time
that needed to happen. Yeah. And guys need to like pan out more.
Yeah.
They need you guys to show up.
All I have to say, Maeda, I think a good pickup, but it's not really rocking the boat here. It's not really moving the needle. But when he's good, he's on. But
not a innings eater the way I thought he was. Didn't play last year. In his age 33 season in 2021, he had 21 starts. Year before, he had 11, but that's 2020, so that doesn't count. He's 35 this year. This is tough. Just eat innings, dude. Just stay healthy and eat innings. That's what this team needs. Someone to stay healthy.
I was curious because when I saw that number, I was like, 24 mil. I mean, it's not earth shattering, but I wondered, I wanted to see what he has earned to this point in his career, because that seemed like a good chunk of change, for a
2 years?
yeah,
24 mil?
24 mil.
That's an overpay. That's hey, we're Detroit and we're nothing near competitive overpay. Can you please come here and pitch?
Which is the only way to explain, or it's the only reason that explains why he would have signed this early. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
why would you want to go to Detroit?
Yeah, someone was smart, I think, over in Detroit, and just been like, let's offer him now and give him a top dollar now.
Who knows, man? Maybe Erod got in his ear and was like, "Hey, man, I turned down going to LA for this place. Let me tell you why you need to come
Let
here."
me tell you about D-Town.
Kenta Maeda, to this point in his career, has earned
He's only been around 6 years, 7 years. He didn't start pitching the big leagues till he's 28.
he made 25 mil with the Dodgers contract. Well, that's over. Oh, yikes! Never mind. That's over 8 years.
Oh,
Interesting. Yeah, I was just curious. I didn't know how it compared to his.
Any idea what the
career
rest of
earnings.
that rotation looks like? Is Casey Mize still a thing?
I was trying to do a little more research into
Yeah.
when his expected return is, and some of the reports I was reading, his name wasn't even mentioned. But then I dug a little more and said that he's resuming. I think back in September he started resuming, or he got ramped up a little bit with the throwing program. So, I mean, usually the throwing program, you're on the right track. You're not too far out. So, I mean,
Yeah.
at some point, I would imagine. But as of right now, Tariq Skubal, Matt Manning, Reese Olson. So,
What?
nothing to get excited about.
I don't even. Yeah.
And the Tigers at this point are not in a place to be like, "Whoa, go out and get a." Well, Shohei's not throwing, but go out and get a Yamamoto. That's not.
I know that. I know you're done with the whole Astros thing, and I won't pick on this too much. I know you're over it. I know that we really wish that there was some kind of consequence that Astros players felt for what they did. Dude, I think AJ Hinch is kind of in baseball purgatory, dude. He absolutely got handed a tough, hey, you'll still be in baseball, but this is what you're going to have to deal with.
Hope you like Detroit, buddy. Place stinks.
You know what I mean? I think that there's some nice justice that's happening for AJ Hinch.
Hey,
and I don't even dislike the guy that much. I don't even think I think he's a good manager. But
hey, it's a pretty city when it snows, but that's about all I got going for him, because
Lions are good this year.
Yeah, that. And they got Eminem. So yeah, not all bad, but yeah, not a great place to be if you're Hinch. Like I said, especially at this point, I would have thought that they would have sniffed some level of success at this point.
Yeah,
but
guys need to start showing up. Javi Baez, okay, you and Giancarlo Stanton need to get together and go to therapy on accepting change and try something new.
Did you see, speaking of Javi Baez, did you see that trade proposal floating around? 1-for-1 Trevor Story, Javi Baez. That's where we're at. To revisit my rant at the beginning, that's where we're at in baseball, is we're floating around trade proposals that involve only, not as pieces, only Javi Baez and Trevor Story. That's where we're at.
if that happened, you would have to be so pissed if that happened, right? Really?
No, I would absolutely be pissed, but like I've
I'd
learned.
be pissed. I'd much rather have Trevor's story.
Oh, absolutely. No. But I'm just saying, I've had to force myself to get to a point to just roll with the punches, because what good is that I'm telling you, man,
that trade would make me happy.
That Xander ordeal, that nearly broke me.
Yeah.
So if I can bounce back from that, sign Tommy Pham, sign Manny Machado, sign all these guys that I'm like, about.
I'm going to be honest.
Marcus Stroman, whatever.
This is like when like Jeter kind of had like his woes in the late like 2000s. You know what I mean? Like pre-teens, late 2000s, where like there's a little bit of questionable rumors and stuff. He might go elsewhere. If Jeter went somewhere else, I think it's equivalent to this. I think it's equivalent to Xander leaving, where he should have spent the rest of his career. He should have been a lifer. He should have his number retired there. I get it. I see why it hurts. Trust me. I enjoy the hurt in my own selfish, sick ways. I'm enjoying this. But at the same time, I'm also miserable. So
that's the thing. I just miss feeling that like genuine hatred for another team. I'm just kind of numb at this point. And this offseason is not really helping. But
just it's getting older.
It's still early though.
That's gonna be a part of it too. I don't know.
Speaking of the Yankees, now former Yankee Luis Severino, just within hours of us hopping on, it was announced that he is heading to the Mets on a 1-year, $13 million deal. He's only 29. And he will be joining the Mets, who have already announced that they're not competing in 2024. Which, if you're doing the math at home, is the season that Severino will be pitching for them. So really just a move to fill a slot in the rotation at this point, because you've already made it known to your fan base that none of this matters.
Yeah.
So really, this is just an opportunity for him to bet on himself a little bit, maybe get that payday that he's looking for on the other side of it. But
big time. So there's a list of players. There's a list of like former Yankees that are just dead to me. You know what I mean? Like Josh Donaldson, like Jacoby Ellsbury. You know what I'm saying? Like those types, Joey Gallo, those types of players, they're just dead to me. I've blacked out on the fact that you were ever a Yankee, right?
You want to have a soft spot in your heart for Joey Gallo?
I don't. No.
Tough.
No. Because it never should have happened. I don't blame him. I'm just like, you're like, whatever. That's out of my brain. I'm going to grow old and I'm going to forget that you were ever a Yankee. Luis Severino is absolutely not on that list. I hope he does well. I'm rooting for that guy. I really want him to do well.
Quite a turn of events. I didn't think you were going this
direction. You like that?
With this. Interesting.
I really, really, really like him. I think he's awesome. And I think it was a mutual thing. It's the equivalent of a mutual breakup. Both parties know exactly, hey, I need to go my separate way. And Luis Severino couldn't stay healthy, but when he was healthy, that dude's good. That guy's good. That guy's got juice. And if he can go figure some stuff out, I think he will get a payday. And I love this. You stay in New York, you stay relevant enough, you're still on the map, right? You're not off the map. For a team that has no pressure. It's a perfect fit. I love it. I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well. I hope he doesn't let too much Met on him, if that makes sense. Because I think he could be, who knows, dude. This is the kind of guy, like, if he stays healthy and catches heat, a contender will absolutely trade for him next year. Will absolutely slot him in. If that guy's moving well and doing his thing and slots right in as a 3-4 starter, he's going to contender if he's well. So I hope he is. And I hope he goes and gets what he deserves. The Yankees, couldn't keep him healthy. As much as he couldn't stay healthy, I think there's a lot of the Yankees not being able to keep him healthy. I hate our training staff. Obviously, they're no clue what's going on.
Breaking news. The Mets and Joey Wendell are in agreement on a contract.
Cool.
Anyway, the name that I want to just talk briefly about, because, one of the top names out there, but really not much to discuss, as we've alluded to already. But Yamamoto. Things we do know about Yamamoto: he was just named the MVP over there in Japan. Won it for the third straight, actually. Little note here: it joins Ichiro Suzuki and Hisashi Yamada as the only players to win the MVP 3 years in a row. So good company.
Pitcher.
Correct. Yes,
that's wild.
Worth noting. Went 16-6 with a 1.21 and a whip of .884 in 23 appearances.
Dude. When you read it out loud, it just hits different.
Gross. It's worth reminding the listeners, because I believe I've said this before. I think I'm at a place now where the whole overseas thing does not bother me anymore. Now that we've gotten Shohei, and I know
we've crossed this bridge, yeah.
Yeah, Shohei is certainly a unicorn. I understand that, but for the longest time, I just really struggled to wrap my head around the fact that a guy could come over from Japan or elsewhere, typically Japan, and succeed the way that they were projected to. I was just like, it's just a different world over here. But we've seen as of late that guys can come over here and settle in just fine. So aside from the fact that we know that this guy is just unreal and dices over there, I'm genuinely excited to see where he ends up. And
I am too.
A little biased because I know the Sox are in on the mix a little bit, but
I know the Yanks are in too, so I'm about it as well.
Oh, well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I saw the report that said, and please tell me that you didn't fall for this. I saw the report that the Yankees were, quote, saving number 18 for Yamamoto for over the last year. My question to you is, Nate, do you by chance remember an individual named Andrew Benintendi?
I do. I do remember him.
Do you by chance remember what number he was?
I remember him wearing 18, yeah.
And do you by chance remember the fact that the Yankees' last free agency, which was a year ago,
right,
offered him a 4-year contract to presumably wear number 18 for the Yankees? But I'm being told that they've been saving this for over a year, even though they offered him, Andrew Benintendi, a 4-year contract last offseason. So is this or is this not the worst attempt at PR we've ever seen?
I need to confirm. Yeah, he's 23 now. Okay. I was just curious. It's a bad attempt. It's a bad attempt.
It's horrendous is what it is.
It's tough. I could see not over a year and a half. I could see this being an in-season decision. When you started seeing guys come up and, like names that are probably going to be a piece of the future, like an Austin Wells, I could see that being a situation where they were like, yeah, sorry, we're going to save it. Because Cashman was over there. He watched Yamamoto throw a no-hitter.
Yeah, no, I
so
saw
he was
pictures.
like, he was there. So I think the scouting has been there. But I'm not buying into the number thing. You could try this as much as you want. I thrive on those stories. I thrive on GMs going to players' Thanksgiving dinner to try and get them to sign. I eat that stuff up, and it's old school. And that's the stuff we grew up hearing.
That's what Theo did with Kurt Schilling.
Showed old school
to his house on Thanksgiving. Insane.
Wild. That's what I'm saying. I thrive on those stories. I freaking love those. I'll eat those up any chance I get. As much as this is trying to be one of those stories, it's not. So, nice try. But this is what the Yankees are at now. This is what we have to do. You can't just be the Yankees. You have to come up with this cute little crap and try to make it seem romantic.
Yeah, I just want to touch on it briefly because, like I said, everybody and their mother is in on this guy. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate about contract projections and where the best fit is. But I did want to ask you, though, maybe him and maybe a few other names. Where would, outside of New York, where do you think he would be a great fit at?
Probably San Francisco. I think that's the biggest fit for me. I think San Francisco is, we've said this before, like obviously they were right there with Aaron Judge. They were right there with Correa. Like they are thirsty to switch things up. They are absolutely thirsty, almost desperate. So I very much could see that happening. Yeah, then it makes sense.
Yeah, I did. I saw a report this week. Whether or not you want to believe it, I probably don't. I don't even remember who put it out there, but it was him, Shohei, and was it Belly? Was it Snell? It said that it may have been Heyman. I think it was Heyman. Forgive me.
That the Giants are getting
Heyman.
one of them?
No, that we should expect them to get two of them, which I'm like, okay.
I don't see the Ohtani thing. It's not a hitter-friendly ballpark. It's cold. It's windy. I just don't see that. I don't see him. They're talking about rumors of him playing in the outfield. I don't see him playing that outfield. Too big. Too much going on.
I did watch that Shohei doc.
Do you like it?
Very, very strong. I highly recommend.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. The second you brought this up, it came into my head. You're a Family Guy, right? Family Guy guy.
Family Guy guy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Peter that went to a game and he's like, he sits down with like a hot dog and a beer. And he's like, nothing more American than sitting here and watching 9 Latinos on the field or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think what Ohtani has done could get us to the point where like Asians and like Asian baseball could step in as like the next generation of like running Major League Baseball. Like having a huge, like a new Latino.
The new Latin wave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I think it could be that way. So I agree with you. I think you said it, like the first statement you said was, guys coming from Japan or Korea, like don't really make me nervous anymore as far as like, can they translate over into the MLB? I agree. I think that's over. And I think like Ohtani being good, just being so good And of course you have those other legends. Of course you have Ichiro. Of course you have Hideki Matsui, Hideo Nomo. Like, of course you have these names you can touch on. But I think now more than ever, it's like, oh, this is what it takes to be at the top of baseball. And everyone knows his name. It's doing a lot for that culture. It's doing a lot for guys like this. So I'm pumped. I think it's going to be fun to sit back and just watch this guy pitch and do his thing.
Speaking of Shohei, one of the other reports, whether or not you want to believe it, said that he possibly could make a decision by the winter meetings. Which honestly,
that was my prediction.
I thought about it and I'm like, if there was a guy that wasn't going to necessarily play the politics and wait it out and say, I think you were, and I think I gave you credit when you brought that point up. I think it's a very valid point where he's going to just want to get settled in, assuming it's a place he's going to be locked into for 8+ years.
Right.
I think he's going to want to get settled in, and he's not going to want to have to do a whole bunch of waiting around because 100%. he's already been sought after. Like it's not like it's not a matter of that. It's just a matter of where do you want to play? How much money do you want to earn with this contract?
Yeah.
And let's go. That's really all it is. So I could see that.
I haven't asked you yet. How big of a fan are you about the whole, like, hey, if you leak news about our meetings, it's going to count against you?
Oh, I love it because
I love that.
All of these people on Facebook who clearly know nothing about Shohei Ohtani. They're like, what kind of arrogance is that to think that like you can control your narrative? I'm like, you know nothing about Shohei Ohtani. This has nothing to do with like trying to keep an upper hand. It's more about
discretion.
The discretion, exactly. And the ways in which you can the parties can respect one another and be like, okay, if you're willing to do this for me to kind of keep it under wraps out of respect for me, my family, my agent, so on and so forth.
I love it.
Then I'll return the favor and offer you everything I can as a baseball player. It has nothing to do with arrogance. Get out of here with that narrative. That's a bunch of nonsense.
I'm all about it. I couldn't love this more. I couldn't love it more. I even got scared. Even though I think the Yankees are out, and I'm pretty sure this was most likely like photoshopped or whatever, I saw this picture that it was like, you could tell it was obviously like a cell phone that took a picture of the big screen, like the scoreboard in Yankee Stadium. And it had like welcome Shohei on it. And it had Shohei in a Yankee like uniform. And I knew that I was like, if that was true, that would be all over the place and way bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It was a small little account. It had to be photoshopped.
Oh, yeah. People had a blast.
But what I'm saying is that
report came out.
What I'm saying is that I saw it and I got nervous. That's how much I'm bought into this thing, because this dude means something. When he says it, he means it.
No, to answer your question, I'm all in. And I loved watching people have a field day with it. They're like, sources confirm that Shohei was walking out of Tony's Pizza on 54th Ave in the Bronx. Like,
dude,
just
doing whatever they can to get something fake to blow up. Yeah,
I'm all about it.
I like it. I'm a fan. Good for Shohei.
If not either of our teams, where do you want to see him end up?
Shohei?
For the sake of his career, for the sake of baseball, for the sake of entertainment, where would you want to see him end up?
Seattle.
Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. I think you've hinted at that before.
That would be, if I got to choose, it would be Seattle. Yeah. If he wasn't a Yankee, obviously I would freaking kill. And I don't think they're in anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I would say Seattle. I understand like the shadow of Ichiro or whatever, but just like it's just they're in the right place. It's a perfect ballpark for them. It checks so many boxes. You? Don't say Texas.
No. Shohei in Texas.
Although Shohei doing Texas would be awesome. I would watch that show any day of the week. And he's like chicken and waffles. Like what?
That would be Shohei and cowboy boots. Need it. Absolutely
Biscuits and
need
gravy. What is this? Shohei does biscuits and gravy. I would eat that up, dude. If that was a YouTube channel, I'd watch.
Oh, I can already see the "Don't Mess with Shohei" Texas themed shirts coming out.
Dang, I'm kind of getting hyped about it.
I'm kind of about it. No, but what I will say is, if we wait this whole time, because you got to remember, we went through this whole deadline business about, is he going to get dealt?
Yeah,
we've waited for a year plus, knowing that this free agency was imminent. We've waited a year plus, and if it ends up being that he goes to the Dodgers, I may just walk away from baseball altogether, because I'm already at a pretty weak point with this sport right now. If Shohei, of all people, winds up on the Dodgers, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
That was gonna be my answer. If you asked me who I think versus who I want Seattle. I think LA. I think he's gonna be a Dodger. It's just a desperate organization right now. Yeah, Shohei in Hollywood. Think of like the whole media thing. Think of like outside of baseball. It's like the next. It's like when we talked about making a show about him, dude. Like think about Shohei in Hollywood. This is like the next Kelsey T Swift crap. That's we're gonna get it shoved down our throat.
We don't need it. No, but what was interesting, and this is all I'll say about the doc. I don't want to spoil
Dating Shohei. That's the next show.
Dating Shohei. No, the only thing I'll say about the doc, because like I said, don't want to spoil it, but there's a bit in there asking him, or like talking about why he chose the Angels, and nobody could figure it out why. Like his agent didn't even really know. There was just a lot of confusion, a lot of speculation. Well, yeah, hindsight. But it really made me wonder. I'm like, is there something to Shohei's game that he recognizes that the attention is going to be there regardless, but it's how much he wants to bring that on himself. And sure, I know it's still like LA, Anaheim, whatever, but that's certainly different than going to the Dodgers, where you've got guys like Mookie Betts there. Like it's a whole different world in Dodger Town.
What about Chicago?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know like how much.
Craig Counsell's like a low key guy. He's like a low key, quiet guy. I bet him and Shohei would hit it off. They have like the same demeanor.
I could see Chicago. I like Seattle too. That's a good fit. I don't know. There's just not really a team that's like really scream. I mean,
I agree.
I guess by default you go Dodgers.
I can close my eyes and see a Yankee uniform though. I can see it. I can picture it.
I could picture him at Fenway. You know what? Bring him over. We've already got Yoshida. Bring over Yamamoto. Let's just make.
Do we know if him and Yoshida are boys?
Yeah, they were on Team
the WBC,
Japan.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, back in March.
All right. So they are boys. Dude, if you got both, that would flip the script for you real fast, wouldn't it?
Dude.
We could get Verdugo.
For the record, I'm already on board with the Sox. So on the off chance, I want to clarify that, because if by chance they sign one of these two guys, or both, I don't want people being like, "Oh, it's interesting how we just sat the bench last year." No. I had good
for
reason.
Any new listeners, he did not sit the bench. This guy was miserable, and so am I.
I had good reason. But I'm on board as it stands right now, just because we got Heim out of there. So Craig Breslow, let's ride. I don't do what you got to do. Let's go get Shohei. Go get Yamamoto. Let's ride. Okay. That should bring us to a close here. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on? Because
I got nothing else.
We could speculate about destinations till we're blue in the face, but
we sure could.
Have no interest in doing that. So I would imagine by the next time that you hear from us, one of these names at minimum will have come off the board. So we'll be sure to get into that. We've got a possible interview coming up next week. Haven't confirmed, but I think you guys will like this one. It's gonna be good if it works out. But we may sneak a 3-0 changeup in there between now and then. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep an eye out, keep an ear out for possible interview next week. But other than that, you got anything else?
Negatory.
Last thing.
Go.
Hinting also next week at the start of a possible little segment idea that we are kicking around. We were looking for something to
Fill the gap.
Have in our back pocket for these off-season episodes, especially when things are a little slow, kind of like they are right now. And I threw out the idea to you. You were on board with it, and then you kind of added a possible element to it. We'll have to workshop it a little bit, but I threw out the idea of diving into some unbreakable records, some more noteworthy than others. You know, like you've got your Cal Ripken consecutive game streak, but some others that are maybe not as talked about, such as a Bobby Cox ejection record, career record, some things like that. So we may do like a little randomizer,
we'll dabble,
little pick each week, and we'll
I like that.
We'll preface it for the week to come, but might be something we start off with next week. We'll see, but just want to get that on your radar.
Love it.
What were you going to say? Go ahead.
Seems so small now. I was going to say we should, by next year, let's try to come up with 3-0 take ornaments for the tree. That'd be cool. I do have a Charlie Brown tree. I might pop that up right there. Take away my tinfoil hat.
I got the Christmas lights up behind me. So
my conspiracy hat.
That's what I'm working with right now.
Let's do a change-up episode soon. What do you say?
You wanna let the people know what we're doing? We haven't even talked about it, but you just wanna pick one right here, right now?
Let's just pick one. I like that.
You know, honestly, I mentioned it and I think you were on board with it, and I would love to do it. I think it just works for both of us. You want to do flying? You want the next one we do to be flying?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
There we go. That's our next change up. We're going to be talking about the experience of flying and all that comes with it. So whether or not if you don't travel,
I'm going to be negative. I'm going to be a negative Nancy on that one. So just buckle up.
If you don't travel, you'll get a little peek behind the curtain as to what it's like. If you do travel, you can empathize with our misery.
Yeah.
As people who travel from time to time. You more so than me, but I've flown a time or two.
I hate it more every time I do it.
It's quite an experience. So yeah, that'll be our next change up topic. So keep an eye out for that one. But other than that will do it.
Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.